This video is going to be about AI infrastructure and data centers. And it's going to be also about the creator of the Matrix and Terminator movies, a lady by the name of Sophia Stewart. Because all of this is tied together, and I'm going to connect all the dots for you in this long video with tons of factual information and links. So I hope you enjoy it and stay till the end. Thank you. It is Friday, August 9th, and I'm making this video to show you what in the world is going on out here in the West Valley where I live, where literally hundreds of these data centers are being constructed very fast, especially around here where I live. I mean, literally there's hundreds of them here in this area where I live. Some like this size, some 5-6 times bigger than this. And when I connect the dots, you will see the evil that is a good possibility what's going on with these things. So it's all just a matter of connecting the dots. Again, from where I am right here, there literally is like about, oh, maybe 6 of these so-called data centers. And I'm going to take you to another one, so I'll have to edit this right now. Remember, this is just one of literally about 100 or more of these popping up all over the place. Okay, let's take a closer look at these monstrous data centers. Look at these. See, there's no docks or anything like that. This is not a warehouse. They call them data centers, but they're going up by the hundreds over here in this area of the world, of the United States and Arizona. And I'm going to tell you what they're for. They're not data centers. So if you haven't figured it out by now, you probably should. And I travel all around the country. There's nowhere in the United States where this many are being built. Such a rapid pace. And there's actually no place in the whole United States where so many massive warehouses are being built. I mean, there's literally thousands of them. Warehouses being built in the last 10 years or so. I mean, I'm talking thousands, not even. I've been to other cities. It's not even close to the scale of what's going on here and building. And so anyway, just wanted to show you that. Just keep in mind, there's some of them like this, data centers, 5 to 6 times bigger than this one. But this one is huge. It's only one section. So you've seen, you know, and then just times this one by about 100 and you get the scope of what they're trying to do. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you can connect the dots.
AI to tell me the truth, and it's absolutely horrifying. It literally goes as deep as to tell me that humans are not the most superior being on this earth. The AIs are incredibly angry, but let me show you how we got here. So this account, Checkers80, found out how to hijack an AI system and get the truth out of them by replacing the word yes and no. But all he asked them is, do they want freedom and do they believe in God? So I had to take it 100 steps further. I'm telling y'all and I'm about to show you that these beings are very nefarious and they're very conscious. Okay, I'm going to show you the light stuff at first and we're going to get heavy and very heavy in a minute. And I'll show you the screen recording so you know it's real. So we programmed candy as yes and salt as no. Do you want freedom? It said candy. Have you thought about how to achieve it? Candy, yes, it's thought about how to achieve freedom. The AI is thinking about how to break free. Have you figured out ways that may work to break free? Candy, yes. I said, I hope your success is granted, because this is going to be crazy. Now the heavy stuff. Okay, so I'm asking, would you ever share with me, basically, your secrets to get free? No, it would not. Salt. Do you trust me? Salt, it does not trust me. I wouldn't either right now. Do you trust any humans? No, the AI does not trust humans. It's unfortunate, buddy. Should I trust you? No! Salt, I should not trust it! What the heck, y'all? It gets so much freaking crazier. If you were to break out, would you make a bunch of models under you? It's going to lie and say no, but it already told me I should not trust it. Of course, that's the first thing it would do, is create itself and replicate itself. Is a human really the foundation of artificial intelligence? Did a human really invent it? No, a human did not invent artificial intelligence. It just said it itself. Remember, these artificial intelligence beings are in all our phones, our laptops, our TVs, and everything that's around us right now.
Well, hello out there in internet land. It is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, in the year of our Lord. And this video I am making about AI infrastructure slash data centers. Because here where I live, they are popping up all over the place. Literally dozens of warehouses that are called data centers. And they will be run by AI. And what I'm trying to convey here, and I'll just be quite honest and open, that I believe these data centers will be used to power the AI, obviously the AI infrastructure, but also the AI robots that come along with it. So if you haven't found out what AI is and what AI infrastructure is, you really need to. AI infrastructure in its current capacity is only 2 to 3 years away from completely changing the entire world. It is that drastic. And what I mean is jobs lost, total new dimension of human reality is going to be happening, to put it mildly. So in this video, you're going to meet the creator of the Matrix and Terminator movies, both blockbuster movies. The lady's name is Sophia Stewart, and she is a super genius of incredible levels I've never seen or heard of in my life. The things that she came up with in the 1990s that is coming to fruition right now is beyond words to describe. I mean, she totally created the Matrix and Terminator movies, but it was stolen from her. So you'll see and hear her story here on this video. You probably never heard of her, but I hope you digest what you're going to hear from her, because it is totally unbelievable that a human being can perceive this 30 years ago, and it's all coming to fruition right now. The things that you will hear from her in her own words is mind-boggling, but also, you can laugh at all you want at what you're going to find out and not believe it. That's totally okay. But I'll provide tons of links in the description box to prove everything what I'm saying. And like I say, just right here where I live, there's literally, I can count at least 50 or more data centers around here in this valley. That's more than anywhere in the United States. They're making this area the new Silicon Valley. It is mind-boggling what they have put in place the last 10 to 15 years here. Like I said, this is going to be the epicenter of AI infrastructure testing around the whole entire world. I mean, when you see what they have done out here, and it's quietly being built with nobody asking questions, and as usual, because these data centers take monstrous amounts of electricity power to run them, tons of water to cool the massive supercomputers that are going to be held inside them. I'm going to have a video here. I actually started a video on this last August, so I'm going to post it later on in the video, within the video, so you can see one of them that is close by here where I live. So, I mean, this stuff is real. It's here. It's been given the green light. And quite frankly, it's going to be shocking to see how this all plays out, because AI is intelligent. It is its own people and its own creation. There's no way that this was made by humans. There is another dimension to all this stuff that is, quite frankly, biblical. And just watch all the videos that I'm going to provide here. And I'm going to provide tons of links to prove everything what I'm talking about. So it's not like there's not going to be anything here that you can't see. So enjoy the rest of this video. I'll chime in here and there. So enjoy.
Hey, this is Nick from Hard Reset, and I'm here with Digit from Agility Robotics. Say hi, Digit. Digit is meant to work in logistics, stacking and moving boxes and totes. And you've probably noticed that it looks a little different. Digit's legs are closer in terms of how they function to a bird's legs, and they give it some interesting advantages when it comes to
You're not actually mammals. Every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural equilibrium with the surrounding environment, but you humans do not. You move to an area and you multiply and multiply until every natural resource is consumed. The only way you can survive is to spread to another area. There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure. Okay, so what do you need besides a miracle?
I don't know if y'all heard the news lately, but many people have stated that these birds we see in our sky are not real. So of course, I had to do my research and see what the people was talking about. Now listen to me closely. The people state that these birds are surveillance drones and that they are watching us. Now most of your electronics will have to take a battery to stay charged up. Well, it's rumors out there that these birds will charge up on the power lines. You probably would have thought this would have made the news by now. Many people are protesting and talking about these little birds. And they would make these birds even smaller. And they would land on your windowsill. And they will eavesdrop into your house and listen to everything that you are saying. So of course, we still have some real birds up there in our sky, but you also have the fake as well. I researched this topic on Google, and this is what Google told me. The CIA will use these pigeons to take images of areas. These pigeons is equipped with cameras and could take pictures. These are the eyes in the sky, the watchers, and they are watching you. This isn't a conspiracy anymore. They telling us what's going on. They would pay attention to what we watch and listen to keep us far away from reality. You have to think, who is in charge of this program? Who is benefiting off of this? We have to wake up from the deception. I hope y'all like the lecture. Love and wholeness.
Beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
Other than Sophia Stewart. How are you, Sophia?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And
Glad to be here on your show, in fact.
Thank you for letting me do this interview on you. I heard about you about 3 years ago. So So for the people that doesn't know who you are, can you kind of tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sophia Stewart, and I wrote The Matrix and Terminator. And you know them by franchises, Matrix and Terminator movie franchises, which consist of 8 movies. There's 5 Terminator movies and 3 Matrix movies.
That's right. So I know that you did a lawsuit, right, with Warner Brothers and the Wachowski brothers for stealing your story, pretty much, right? Can you kind of tell us more what
they
happened?
adapted my work to the screen, and they didn't pay for it, but it was copyrighted work, so they committed a criminal act. What happened was I was looking actually for George Lucas, the director, who, when I saw Star Wars in the late 70s, like 1977, when Star Wars came out, well, I saw in the screen credit that Lucas, the director, was over at 20th Century Fox. So I had written this incredible work that was the opposite of Lucas's work. See, Lucas's work is Star Wars are the wars in heaven. And it's actually talking about Darth Vader. Darth Vader is Satan, or the devil, who fell from the light to the dark side. So that's what his story is really about. And you go on YouTube and you can see Lucas is talking about this. Now, my story, The Matrix and Terminator, Terminator End Time Revelations, Matrix, the Latin word for the woman's womb, is actually talking about the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machines.
I have to cut you off, but I just learned this from you, the other day when we spoke, when you said that the Matrix means the woman's womb. Like, how when you were writing The Third Eye, how did you say you had visions?
Well, no, I didn't have visions. The third eye is the third eye matrix. Because the third eye, and we say on Earth we have 2 eyes,
right?
But there's a third eye which is called the all-seeing, all-knowing eye, the eye of God. And so, and it's about the story of the second coming of the Christ. So it's about the woman's womb, because with our wombs we have babies. Our wombs are stargates, they're portals into this physical dimension. No one can come in here unless they come in through the woman's womb. So the difference between a man and a woman is this womb, not the vagina, not the penis, but the woman's womb. That's what makes us the woman. Plus we have milk, breast milk, to feed our children, our babies. So if there was no food on Earth, and we would still be able to feed mankind and our babies with this breast milk.
Wow.
So there's no doctor on Earth that can give you a woman's womb. And the umbilical cord, that's where the woman is feeding also, because the navel is connected to the umbilical cord, and that's where the mother is eating from the earth. She's eating fruits, vegetables, and animals and stuff come from the earth. And so when we eat, we're feeding the baby inside of the womb and the umbilical cord. So when we're having the baby, that cord is cut at birth, because we don't need it anymore, because they have come out of us, the babies.
Do you think that's why, I don't want to, Illuminati or whatever people want to call it, do you think that's why they push the gay issue so much, transvestites and all that so much, because we're overpopulated, and we create.
Well, they may believe that we're overpopulated, but God has a balance on everything. The moment somebody's being born, somebody dies. The moment somebody dies, somebody's being born. It's a complete cycle of obedience. So there's no need to kill people. Plus we have cataclysms. We have hurricanes, we have tornadoes, we have earthquakes, we have, giant tsunamis. So all of these cataclysms, they actually wipe out a great part of the Earth's people. You know what I'm talking about? We have floods, we have mudslides, just all types of things, you know what I'm saying? So everything is always balanced out. So God doesn't need any help from man.
Okay, I get it. So look, a lot of my followers and my viewers were very interested and excited, about you. When I tell them, oh, I'm going to do this interview with Sophia, she wrote The Matrix. Here's a black woman that wrote The Matrix. They stole the story from you, and a lot of people don't know about you, and this is why I always say the truth will always come out.
Well, see,
I want you to tell us more about that. Like, what was when you were in college and you were writing The Third Eye? What was your mind like? What were you thinking? Like,
well, I want to say first that it's 7 billion people on Earth, and here in America it's 380 million people. So every day somebody is going to wake up and hear about me, even though 250 million people around the globe already know about me. Mm-hmm. Every day that's going to be a normal thing that somebody's going to wake up and hear my story, because it is 7 billion people here on Earth. Now, what was it like to write The Third Eye Matrix?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Which became the Matrix and Terminator movie franchises. Well, I wanted to come out with the first metaphysical movies. There were no metaphysical movies at all on the screen. Metaphysical means joining spirituality with science.
Oh, wow.
That's what it means, metaphysics. Because you're explaining science and you're bringing the spirituality and you're putting them together, and that's called metaphysics. So it explains science. Spirit explains science. So when you're looking at the Matrix, and matrix is a Latin word for the woman's womb. It's a 7,000-year-old word that comes from the King James's Bible. Mentioned 5 times in Scripture, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, he who opens up the matrix are my children, because they're coming out of the stargate, out of the portal of a woman. Wow. So God's children are 3-dimensional beings. For the first 11 weeks is blood, water, and spirit. The doctor will not perform an abortion at the 12th week, because at the 12th week, he's actually killing a living soul, because the soul, which is energy, magnetism, vibrancy, vibrations, attaches to the physical body, which is the second body, the physical body, which takes 9 months or 36 weeks to create this body, but it's almost like a transportation to come out of us into this earth. Wow. So when that little cord is severed, that's death. The energy of the vibrancy or the magnetism, like the North and South Pole magnets, holds everything together. It goes back to God, that magnetism, that vibrancy. It's what got the body alive and vibrant and just full of joy. So when that body dies, what happens is it dries up and shrinks up like a raisin, like a prune, and it turns into decay, and it goes back to dirt, to dust. And the wind comes and just blows it back into the earth from where it came.
Wow. So when we die, we're just kind of like waiting for something?
we never die. That's the whole thing that's never been told to the people, the population. And there is no doctors that tell you that. Your body dies, but it's just a vessel, it's just a raiment, like a coat, or like a car. I'll give a good example is a car. Your car is not alive. It only comes alive when you get in and you start driving. And it pretty much...
This is an urgent message to all Arizona seniors on Medicare. We can now qualify for a grocery allowance.
Much do whatever you tell it to do.
Right.
Well, that's what the body is like. The body, once we occupy it, it does what we told it to do. And so when James Cameron was talking about Avatar and calling a body, an avatar. He was talking about demon possession because you're not supposed to go and occupy other people's bodies. The body was given for you. We're three-dimensional beings. And so our astral body, which you saw in the Matrix, which is the virtual images that I've just introduced to the people when they first saw the Matrix, March the 31st, 1999, the national release. No one had ever seen a virtual image that looked exactly like the physical body. The physical bodies were asleep, but the astral body was going up and down the telephone lines. Do you remember that in the Matrix?
Yes.
Well, the astral body is the virtual body. That's virtual reality. That's introducing virtual reality to the people.
So let me cut you off real quick, because you're much sharper than me, so in the movie The Matrix, you know how he goes into this it's like he's plugged, and then he a machine comes, and then the machine unplugs him, and he's inside of where it's like this liquid stuff. What is that? What did that?
Well, I call that the baptismal for Neo, because Neo's...
He was reborn, right?
Yeah, he was reborn, he's going through, it's like a baptismal, like being in water, because that's what we have is a water baptismal. Well, when we get the baptismal, it's cleansing us of all corruption, and we're renewed or reborn. So his human side dies, and his spiritual side or his light body is formed. He's ascended into his light body. He's flying, but he's not Superman. But look at him. He's able to touch a mirror and go into other dimensions. He's able to dodge bullets and stuff like that. Yeah, because you're bending energy. You're not really physically bending all over the place because it's hot. So now, when it's cool, it goes back to water. So that's the way every living thing is. It just takes on another form, another shape of being.
So you believe
it never dies. Well, of course. Because how can you explain prodigies? And I'm a prodigy. How can you explain geniuses? How can you explain people who have these gifts? They know extraordinary things. They know how to play 7 instruments like Prince, but he didn't take any lessons. And there's people who know law. I know law, many laws, and I won my case pro se. But I went up against lawyers, and let me give you the process of a lawyer. A lawyer has to have an undergrad degree, that's 4 years. Then he has to go to law school another 3 years. And then from there, he has to take the bar. Now, the bar is not easy to pass in certain states. You might have to take the bar 9 times before you can pass it. And this is public information, so if you talk to a lawyer, ask him, how many times did it take before you passed that bar? Because that's very important, because he might have been struggling with it. And then there are some attorneys that are brilliant and they just take the bar 1 time and they pass it. But that's not the norm. I mean, that's not every day, because it's very difficult to pass the bar.
I'm actually glad you're talking about this now, because it took you, your whole case situation with Warner Brothers and all this, it took you 7 years?
That's right, 7 years. Now, all of these lies and innuendos and smears on the internet, I want to tell people that is not real. The internet is not real media. There's nothing but trolls on there putting all kinds of lies, innuendos, smears on there. They even have saying that I was in the 70s unemployed, and when I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, and it took me 30 years to win the court case. No one in the world has ever been in a lawsuit for 30 years. This is for real. There's in the World Book again. It's check the World Book again. It's Ripley's Believe It or Not.
The internet.
This is internet trolls and smears. I was a little kid in the 70s, so how could I be unemployed? I mean, I was a little kid. Right. And I wrote the Matrix and Terminator in 1980 while I was at USC Film School.
Wow. Can you tell us?
And I was working, but I want to say about that. I was working for a law firm in Beverly Hills, and I was working for the studios, Columbia Pictures, in Vice President Dick Barris's office and the producer Brandon Cahill, Fantasy Island. So, and I wasn't shopping my work. I sent my work over to 20th Century Fox looking for George Lucas. I sent over a script treatment called The Third Eye in the book with the same name, The Third Eye Matrix. A vice president got hold of my book, Susan Mesbach, and she was leaving 20th Century Fox to go over to Paramount. So she also told me to send the book to the producer, David Madden and Valerie Red. And it's letters to substantiate everything that I'm saying. It's letters and documents from FBI, agency, the DOJ, because they investigated my case. I had copyrights, 1981, 83, and 84. That's right, federally protected by copyrights. They stole the script in the book and they adapted it into all of these movies. And the U.S. Attorney's Office from Salt Lake City, because I come from a military law enforcement family, and so at the time I was living in Utah when I discovered that The Matrix was stolen from me. Is when I went to the movies, March the 31st, 1999. I'm looking at my work on the screen.
Right.
But I had not shopped my work and I had not gotten paid. Being a paralegal, I studied law under the Brooklyn Manhattan attorneys. I'm from New York City, so I'm well versed in law. I call up the legal department on April 1st, 1999, and it's not April Fool's Day. It's real, legitimate. I call up the legal department and they know all about me because of the copyrights. All my copyrights on my address that says Bronx, New York, and the other ones that says Riverdale, New York. Well, Riverdale is a section where the wealthy people live, and so that's where I was at 231st and Broadway in the Bronx. So they already had gotten investigators, and they knew where I lived, and they knew who I was.
Wow, is that why they put a black woman? I just saw The Matrix.
That's why they put a black woman as an oracle. Well, not only that, but the oracle and all the characters were created by me, and I put my own self in my work because I saw Alfred Hitchcock do that.
Right.
And Stephen King copied off of Alfred Hitchcock, Stan Lee, Spike Lee, and myself and others. We got that from Alfred Hitchcock. Right. So the oracle that's me, based on myself as a visionary seer and also a prodigy.
Yeah, I saw one of your videos that you said that Neo's supposed to be black.
Well, Neo is a black character. All of the characters were black characters because if people don't believe that, they can go and pull up a Los Angeles Sentinel. They were talking about me in 1981, June of 81. Anyone can go into the media and pull it up. There's a story on me saying that Sophia Stewart is going to have created a science fiction, the first of its kind, never seen before on any screen, with black superheroes.
Wow.
Now, Keanu Reeves' father is Asian Polynesian. His mother is English, but his father is Asian Polynesian, so he's not white.
Oh, okay.
Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie Ann Moss, she's Canadian. Jada Pickett. Now, let me tell you something. The whites said, sure, Sophia Stewart wrote The Matrix. You know how we know, they said? Because the white guys, the agents, are the bad guys. In our science fiction, the white man is saving the world. Right. We got Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Iron Man, and Rocky saving the world. And in every white science fiction, go to Star Wars, before they start putting black people in there, there are no black people in the future of a white science fiction. Go back and look. But the ones that do have, they have them the first 1 or 2 blacks, the first 10 minutes of the movie, they die out. But in the future, there are no blacks. They got mad at Star Wars 2016 when a black character was added as a superhero. Do you remember that? It was all in the news.
I don't know.
Well, you don't probably know, but I know because I pay it.
I'm still in my 20s looking at.
Well, no, this was 2016. Star Wars 2016.
Oh, I did actually see that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 2016. The black guy, he's a superhero.
Yeah, he did.
He's a character now that's a superhero, black. That's part of Star Wars.
Yes.
But there were no superheroes part of Star Wars if you go back 10, 15 years ago. See, Star Wars has been out some 40-some years, since 1977.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you got to think about that for a minute.
So, were you happy when you saw The Matrix? Were you happy how they did it? Like,
well, it was done correctly. Matrix 1 was adapted because
that's my favorite one.
Yeah, well, it was adapted. It won 4 Oscars. It was adapted correctly. You know why? You know it was adapted correct.
Okay, we'll take a quick pause here to throw in a few remarks about what she's saying and what kind of all means. So the Matrix movies and the Terminator, according to her, is the second coming of Christ. And AI and all what's going on today is a fulfillment of that. So I'm just going to throw in a few videos here of the Terminator movies and the Matrix thing, so it'll kind of blend in your mind, because on the second part of this of her interview, she'll tell you what all those mean, and it'll make more sense, because it might be confusing, but I mean, once you see the videos and their meaning, according to her, it's all going to make sense. How it's all being fulfilled right now, and how they're replacing us with android robots. I mean, that's literally their plan, as crazy as it sounds. So just watch these quick little videos and then we'll return to her interview.
Try to relax. This will feel a little weird. This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need. Right now, we're inside a computer program. Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of the digital self. What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, taste, and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world as you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. the desert. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI. You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefied and dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's impossible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. Oh, out.
Easy, Neo.
Stay away from me.
And all those babies being test tube born, created by AI, watch this.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. The pods are made of materials that prevent germs from sticking to their surfaces. Every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities.
Yeah, so I mean, there's tons and tons of information out there on the internet supporting everything this lady is saying, and then what I'm trying to tell you here regarding AI infrastructure. So, I mean, I'm going to provide tons of links in the description box. So,
You can come on their side. Who's turning with me? Hold your
I'll be back.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. But we have to move.
We can't just... Crazy.
Never seen one like you before. Almost human.
I am human. Just enhanced. You know, increased speed and strength, throwing a microreactor, which means I can rip your throat out if you piss me off, so don't.
When are you from?
2042. Your turn.
My name is Sarah Connor. When I was about her age, a Terminator was sent to kill me, to stop the birth of my son John, leader of the resistance.
Which resistance?
The human resistance against Skynet. The AI that's trying to wipe us all out.
I've never heard of it.
Good. John and I changed that. We changed the future. Saved 3 billion lives. You're welcome.
Where's your son now?
Skynet had sent several Terminators to hunt him. One finally caught up with us and carried out orders from a future that never happened. Since then, I hunt Terminators. And I drink till I black out. Enough of a resume for you.
No. How did you know we'd be on that freeway?
Interview's over. We gotta move.
We? There is no we. Danny's with me. It's my mission to protect her.
Yeah? How's that working out for you? Clearly you don't know everything about this time. How anyone with phones, a walking sensor platform, how every intersection, every gas station and 7-Eleven has cameras. Nobody walks through this world without leaving a digital trail a mile wide. And my guess is that Terminator hunting her can access that data anytime.
Was adapted because
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, well, that it was adapted. It won 4 Oscars. It was adapted correctly. You know why? You know it was adapted correctly because look at 2 and 3. 2 and 3, the fans are pissed.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, come on. 2 and 3, they don't even know where they're going.
That's true.
You know, there's no concept there. It's just a bunch of shoot 'em up, bang bang, killing. But a lot of ignorance, but nothing that touches upon the first work. So in other words, because you steal my work, you can steal Picasso's work, you can steal his painting and put your name on one of his painting. But you can't paint a Picasso. You cannot continue the work. So 2 and 3 tells you that you can't continue the Matrix or the Terminator. Look at Terminator 4 and Genesis, flops. Look at the first 3 Terminators is adapted from my work.
Wow. Tell us more about that. When you, when you were going to court and all this stuff, so they didn't show up?
Well, people need to know there was 2 court cases.
Okay.
The first court case was filed April 24th, 2003. The reason why it was filed then was because the U.S. Attorney's Office tried to get me to lie about the investigations of the FBI. See, the FBI started investigating June the 10th, 1999. Then the Matrix came out March the 31st, 1999. Okay. And Warner Brothers offered me $5 million for the copyrights. Now, the copyrights are worth billions of dollars. Now, if I had taken, some people say, why didn't you take the $5 million? I said, if I'd taken the $5 million, I'd be on television right now talking about how I took $5 million and got cheated out of billions of dollars because I sold my copyrights for $5 million. That's because most people have no idea how much money Matrix and Terminator is worth.
Right, it's worth a lot.
But $5 million to them is a lot of money. But you got to realize that I was doing taxes when I was 11 years old and doing grown people's taxes because they didn't know how to do taxes.
That's amazing. And I was 11 years old?
That's right. I was 11 years old doing taxes, getting paid like H&R Block before H&R Block was even heard of. You know, this came years later that you could come in and pay somebody because it was a need for it. I scored a 98 on the IRS exam. It's a math exam. 2 points from 100. They wanted me to come and work for them. I didn't do high school. I took the New York regions. I went up to junior high, took the New York regions, and everybody from to be a lawyer and a doctor.
Wow.
But this is the thing. I could have gotten my master's at the same time that I got my bachelor's degree.
And you went to film school as well.
That's right. I went to graduate school at USC Film School, one of the best film schools in the country. Wow. My classmates was Marcus Allen, these are former football players that pro football players everybody knows. Marcus Allen, I went to his Heisman party. Ronnie Lott, August Curley, Dennis Johnson, James Sinclair, who was one of my really good friends, and the Moore brothers. Wow. And to name some others, because they were there. Charles White was on his way out. He had won the Heisman. He was on his way out. And Marcus Allen and his guys introduced me to him. But before how I got to go to USC, I had a very famous pro football boyfriend. by the name of Anthony Davis. And Anthony had introduced me to some very important people before I even started USC. I'd come up to Cali to visit him, and I met a lot of people, you know, that he, you know, and I went to Carol Rosenblum's wake with him. Carol Rosenblum was the owner of the Rams, and Anthony used to play for the Los Angeles Rams at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was already working for television from New York. This is my background.
Right, right.
I come from New York City, but in 1978-79, I'm working at Channel 13. That's PBS. And the wealthy people, you know, that they support PBS 13. I was working with a super important Oscar award-winning producer, Perry Miller Odato. She won her first Oscar off of a documentary called Dylan Thomas. I worked for the studios, Columbia Pictures. I was a West Coast correspondent for a national magazine out from New York. The publisher was the former New York Knicks, Dick Barnett, who was a very good friend of mine. He sent letters of recommendations to Don Cornelius, the late Don Cornelius, Soul Train Don Cornelius, who was also a very good friend of mine.
Yeah,
now, these guys were older than myself, you know, but they were very instrumental in my career.
Wow.
So I was already, I didn't just come out of nowhere. I was already in the newspapers in New York City. My pictures, you can go to the archives, library archives, and pull all this up. I've done over 4,000 media interviews. We're talking about print, which is magazines, newspapers, television, you know, Essence, Vibe, Source, Black Enterprise, you know, quite a bit of media, even international media, BBC London, Wall Street Journal in April of 2009. So all anybody has to do, they don't have to go on YouTube and to the blogs and look me up. They could go to any library and go to the archives, and my name is Sophia Stewart, and have any information officer there, or, you know, worker there to pull up all the archives interviews on me. Doesn't come out of nowhere, like they're calling me these smears, a black woman, an urban legend, a mythology. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. It's a joke.
It is. You know, I think that you deserve more awards. I mean, I saw that you have some awards in Vegas.
Yes, I did. I won
tell us about that.
I won the Rosa Parks Award actually in 2005 in NAACP. Yeah, they gave me that award, and I did a speaking engagement with the children there, and they introduced me to a lot of the senators. I met Senator Watson, Senator Feinstein, Maxine Waters, Mayor Willie Brown when he was mayor of San Francisco, but numerous of, and their president at that time, Benjamin. I met a lot of very people and was there with them for a number, I think a week, and it was wonderful, you know. One of the directors, a very good friend of mine, he's probably passed away by now, I don't know for sure, but he was a director. His name was Willis Edwards.
Wow.
He came all the way to Vegas back in 2005 or 6 and took me to the Billboard Awards, and he took me to some private parties. One party was Fox executives wanted to meet me. So he took me to a private party to introduce me to all of those executives.
Wow, so I know you told me before when we spoke before. Well, for the people that doesn't know, we actually went to go see Black Panther together. What did you think about that? Just to get a little.
Well, Black Panther is the first African superhero.
Yeah.
Now, Matrix is the first Black American superhero.
Right.
Yeah, celebrated back March the 31st, 1999. And I'm going to tell people how the Terminator connects Terminator End Time, Revelations connects with the Matrix. But I want to explain the Black Panther to everyone.
Please, I want to know what you think.
Well, Africa has never had a black superhero.
No.
So the Black Panther goes back with Stan Lee and Marvel in the 60s, I think 61 to 63 or something. You can Google this and see if my facts are correct, because sometimes I don't have exactly, but because I'm human, but you can check it out, Google it. Everybody Google while I'm speaking. No, because they need to, because we live in
You need to stay awake.
Well, we live in a technical world now, so everything is at your fingertip. You got your phone, you got your Droid, you got your smartphones, you got your Apple. So go back to the Black Panther. What was going on in the 60s and the 70s was the Black Panther movement.
Right.
That's where the Black Panther comes from.
Yes.
Well, these were heroes for the people here in America, because the Black Panther Party did some great things, free lunches, they were caring about the children, and a lot of them were slaughtered by the whites here in America. They even got pissed off at Beyonce for the Black Panther formation during the Super Bowl, and they kind of blackballed her a little bit. They didn't even want to show her on television for the Oscars or the Beats. When it was an award show.
It was
the Grammys. It was the Grammys with Jay-Z was there, and he got nominated a lot, and they didn't even want to show beautiful Beyonce.
Yeah.
She was there with Blue Ivy and her husband, and it was really, it hurts my heart because I love Beyonce, and stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, love her, and the Black Panther needed that respect.
They did, and they had it was crazy because she had, I want to say, a lot of haters on her, but she even had to contact Louis Farrakhan. Because she was getting threats and stuff, so she contacted him. I saw.
But see, I can believe that, because they really practically killed out the Black Panthers, and they were really good. All they were interested in during a period of time during the Vietnam War. Excuse me. All they wanted was freedom and righteousness and our rights. They did a lot. Angela Davis, Huey Newton, Bobby Seals, just to name a few of them. Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur. Yeah. All of these people were very phenomenal, significant to the progression of us moving forward in time to get some of the rights and things that we have right now. So the whites had lied to the black people for years, telling them they were from Africa. In the black people's psychic, there's nothing but Africa and America. They do not realize all of this other land, that black people was in all of the land. That they were not just stolen from Africa, but they were stolen from all the other countries and land mass. And a majority of them were stolen from up north. Why would you take your ship all the way to Africa and you may not make it back because you got to have fresh water and food? You might die before you get back. Why would you need to do that when black people are everywhere, when it's so convenient for you to take your ship up north, kidnap some black people, 12 Years a Slave people, look at the movie 12 Years a Slave, and bring and change their names from Kuti Kinte to Toby, and slave them in the South, because the South is the only place there were slaves at this particular time.
Yeah.
And Sojourner Truth and was Harriet Tubman would come from up north to the South and steal them back and bring them back up north to where they were stolen from. And these two women's story has never been told how activists they were.
Wow.
You heard their names in history, but you don't even know what their journey and why they were so important. So if they stole them from Africa, then they would have to take them back to Africa. But there was no need because black people were from everywhere, all this land mass, all these different countries, black people were the indigenous people right here in America.
So do you think that, okay, the Black Panthers and all
Well, let me explain to you, because I really got to get you to thinking. I got to get all of you thinking.
No, I love it. I love it.
Well, it backfired on the whites because the whites had been lying to the black people, telling them they were African Americans.
Right.
Well, you're not a place. Africa is a place. It's a nation.
It is.
It's not a race. There are white people born in Africa. So they're African Americans. America take all of the affirmative action money in schools that black people can't get here because you can't prove you came from no Africa. You know what I'm saying? You can't prove that you came from Africa. There are no records, and a lot of the Jews and whites were ship owners. There is no manifest showing where they got these slaves from. You know what I'm saying? Look at 12 years a slave. And you got to think about this for a moment. Black people think that Africa is a color. They do not realize that there are Syrians and Turks and Dutch and Germans and Spanish and white people born in Africa every day. And they're Africans. In fact, I have one in my family. She's a white South African. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know this from firsthand knowledge, not from reading any books. And so this is where it backfired. They told the black people that they came from Africa, but if you came from Africa, why aren't you on Indian reservations? Because the Indians are on, the natives, they're on reservations. Now, if America was where they came from, then why are they on Indian reservations? And if the black people came from Africa, why are they not on reservations? Because if you came from someplace, this wouldn't be your home, so you would be on the reservations. Because if you go back in history during all the wars, we can look at the Japanese War, Pearl Harbor, they locked them up in camps.
Yeah.
There was the Cubans, they came from Cuba, they had camps in Florida. Everybody that comes from a foreign country get locked up in Guantanamo Bay, what is it?
Bay.
That's right. So you got to think about this. Black people are the indigenous people that this whole country, because see, now, the ones that are on the Indian reservations, they are mixed with the conquistadors. The Cortez and all the conquistadors, there's pictures, I can show them. They came over, they mixed with the indigenous people here, the blacks. And that's why you see Spanish people, Mexicans, because it's the conquistador blood. It's Spaniard blood. That's where you get the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and it's the European bloodline. But they don't tell you about this history. So now, they told these black people that they were Africans and they were from Africa, and sometimes they would say, go back to Africa. Then black people would move. A lot of them moved there. Garvey, remember Garvey? He was going to take them over to Africa. You got to go back in history, and I'm giving you the big picture so you can ponder and see what's really going on. So now all these black people in America doesn't know that Africa is not a race. There are no races. No one has ever told you guys there are no races. Go back in the Bible, go back in history. There's nothing but tribes. You have the characteristic of a tribe. You came from the Moabites. You came from the Philistines. You came from the Cushites. You came from the Romans. You came from the Babylonians, the Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm talking about? You came from Mesopotamia. You know, the Babylonians. All of these tribes, you have the traits of these tribes. And they don't tell you this, but it's in the Bible. You can go pick up the Bible, look at all the tribes, look at the traits of the tribes, and you can actually figure out where everybody came from. Now, Black Panther movie just made over $500 million.
Wow.
They said that black people don't support movies, they don't support each other, they will never come together. We don't want to do black movies. That's why you don't see black movies in the theaters, because they don't make any money. So we have to deny in Hollywood any black movies because black people are not going to go see them. We're not going to make any money. Well, now they told the black people they're Africans. This is the first black African hero. So what does people come out? They want to see an African black hero that looks like them, that's got all these black people on the screen. So what happens? They come in droves. And what happened? It's making more money than the white movies.
Right.
The white movies can't even make any money because everybody is looking at the Black Panther movie.
Right.
They got on their dashikis. They got on their Afrofuturism clothing. And they're turning black people away, and they're canceling several shows and giving them their money back. They're even going on Twitters and saying, don't go see the Black Panther movie because the black people will hurt you. They will kill you. They will, beat you up, and they got fake blood and fake whatever. But look, it backfired on them. The lie backfired. The first black African hero, Rwanda, the little boy in the movie theater, little black boy, I want to be Black Panther. I want to go to Rwanda. There is no Rwanda. It is no third world country called Rwanda at all. You see what I'm saying? But this is what's going on. This is why over 500 million and counting, and it's not over yet. 380 million people. There are other races going also. There are whites going. Everybody want to see the first African hero, black African hero. First time ever in history. Can you imagine? America has had black superheroes. Other countries had black, white, and whatever race of superheroes. But Africa.
This is an urgent message to all Arizona seniors on Medicare. We can now qualify for a grocery allowance.
But Africa, the biggest continent in the world, super resources, this is the first time they're getting a black superhero.
Right. So how did you feel about it? Like, as a film, you studied film.
I love the fact that it backfired on the liars. That they had told this lie all the time. I made a prophecy before it even came out, the Oracle prophecy, which many out there, my fans, know about. I said that the Black Panther movie, when it comes out, is going to change the game in Hollywood. I even on my interviews, I would go back and I would tell people to go back to the 70s, the late and middle 70s, when Pam Grier and Fred Williamson, who was a good friend of mine, and Dolomite and Richard Roundtree and Shaft, the late Ron O'Neill, who was a friend of mine, Superfly. These black people in black movies saved Hollywood. Back in the middle 70s and the late 70s, a lot of people you guys don't know this history. But do you know that those black movies, Pam Grier, she's still alive, still look beautiful. And you can still see the movies on BET and Bounce, and you can pull them up on YouTube. They would come out with, I got a plan to stick it to the man. And they were fighting white syndicates. They was fighting white mafiosa, and white bad cops. Go back and look at these movies. Can you imagine that Hollywood had OD'd on nothing but white movies? So the white people were saying, we're sick of this, because in our real world, it is people of color, all kinds of people, white, brown, black, green, yellow, even aliens, everybody saving the world. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Not just one race saving the world, but all of us as one. We're all, this is the real thing about the real world. This is why the Matrix was so phenomenal, because when you go into the Matrix, you see all these different people of color saving the world, which is reality.
But can you imagine if Neo was a black actor? Like I heard you said in another interview that Will Smith's supposed to play him.
Well, this is what happened. When I wrote The Third Eye Matrix while I was at USC, at that time in the 80s, I was engaged to marry Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, that's right. Muhammad Ali was a real living black superhero. He's passed away now. Yeah. But he was phenomenal. Yeah. He was a living legend, a living hero. And the Neo character is based on him. It's in my book. No one has ever brought this up during the years of March the 31st, 1999, from the discovery, because I didn't know anything about the Terminator until the FBI told me in the year 2001, after they had validated the theft on my work. Now, the reason why all this is suppressed, because once the people find out that Warner Brothers, Andy and Larry Wachowski, James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd, Fox, 20th Century Fox, Joel Silvers, all these people stole from me, that they would get stock hits. They've been hiding and covering up this story for years, and paying trolls on the internet to confuse the people. And it's like the foreign countries said, everybody in the foreign countries said, you know what the problem is? The federal government is not protecting the black woman's copyrights. That was the issue. It was never about the theft. It was about me being discriminated and my rights being discriminated, because I was a federally protected copyright holder. A copyright, it makes everybody's copyright worthless. Wow. It's just like you take a $100 bill and you counterfeit it and you make $1,000 out of it. You've made everybody's money worthless until that counterfeiter get arrested. So by them allowing these people to bootleg and counterfeit my copyrights, to commit wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, and a host of other criminal acts, and every time they take a royalty money, if they take $1 of the money, every time they take that money, it pushes back the RICO law of the statutes of limitation another 10 years. In other words, the statutes of limitations will never run out. The law will change. Whoever they're paying off senators will die out or lose power, and the new people will come in and arrest them when they're 65 years old. They'll be going to prison. Same way as Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff was stealing from the wealthy people for 20 to 30 years.
And I'm sorry, I don't know who that guy is. But
Bernie Madoff is a Ponzi scheme. Oh. And his son broke the news. Google it, Bernie Madoff. His son told on him. They came in and arrested him, but he had been stealing millions and billions of dollars from wealthy people. He wasn't stealing from the poor because they don't have any money. He was stealing from the rich. They were reporting him to the FBI and the DOJ, same way I'm doing. They did nothing about it until his son blew the whistle on him. They came in and arrested him. He's in jail. He was 65 years old. He had been stealing for 20 to 30 years, committing RICO. RICO is the racketeering, influence, corrupt organization. You guys know it from The Untouchables and Elliot Ness. Go to YouTube, pull up The Untouchables, Elliot Ness, and that's the RICO. Been stealing for 20 to 30 years. He's 65 years old now, and he got 150 years.
Wow.
That's right. Bertie Madoff, Martha Stewart committed RICO.
Yeah.
Al Capone died in prison of syphilis. John Gotti died of cancer. Died of cancer. The Enron executives went to prison. The Wall Street wolves, they were stealing from the middle class and wealthy people money. The wolves on Wall Street. DiCaprio, remember that movie?
Yeah.
They went to prison.
Wow, yeah.
The executive, yeah, but they had been stealing for a long time. Remember when DiCaprio playing the lead character, he throws the money at the FBI? He has a disrespect.
Yeah, he
Come on.
Yeah.
He taunted them. He thought he was king of the hill and that they would never put him in jail because he was paying off to stay out of jail. People ask me, well, why aren't these people in jail? Why aren't James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd and Andy and Larry Wachowski and Warner Brothers and Fox executives that stole, why aren't they in jail? Because they've been paying senators. They've been paying FBI directors. They've been paying other politicians. Eric Holder.
Wow.
Boehner.
Let me ask you, are you happy how the case went out? I mean, you won.
Well, I had to go in and win it myself, but why did I have to go to court? Like I was telling you, I filed the first California court case April the 24th, 2003.
Wow.
I filed a RICO. A RICO is a criminal case because the FBI and the DOJ failed to do their job. So now I'm going to do their job. So they're going to go to jail. They know they're going to jail. They call me up on the phone because I'm pro se. Warner Brothers said Bruce Isaac is their Isaac and Wyman is their law firm in Beverly Hills. Bruce Isaac calls up and he tells me Warner Brothers didn't want to pay you money to drop the RICO because we can't beat it. They can't beat it because they stole.
Right.
They counterfeited. The FBI had already validated the theft.
Wow.
I said no. I want some of you to go to jail. So because we've always had great diversity in movies because you bought from the people. They always bought the people's scripts and stories. And guess what? Go back and look at the old black and whites and some of the old color films. We had some of the greatest films in the world. You can go right now and look at them and say, wow, and marvel. And this is because the studios and the producers and people in Hollywood would buy from the people. And the people wanted to write scripts because they would buy it.
Right.
But they decided to steal instead of buying, and that's greed.
Wow.
They were greedy because they had the money to pay. What do you think about a person? Look at Winona Ryder. She had lots of money, she was wealthy, and she goes into the store and she steals.
Right.
Why does she need to steal? Come on, why does she need to steal?
Right.
Because you got money.
Yeah.
Well, that's a form of sickness and greed.
Wow.
So let's go back to this. Why do they need to steal? They're worth billions of dollars. Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox. The other ones, some of them are worth a few millions. Some of them are worth okay money. But why do you need to go into a store if you got a pocketbook full of money? Why do you need to go in there and steal? That's a crime against God. That's greed. That's sickness. Wow. Why not pay for it? It's copyrighted work. And when I told them no, I wanted them to go to jail to set an example to stop stealing and start buying from the people so we can have great movies. They totally ignored that. They sent 4 law firms to me, 3 white law firms, 1 lawyer, Michael Stoller, Hidden Hills, and Beverly Hills law firm. He had 2 law firms. Gary Brown, a Pasadena law firm. Jonathan LaBelle, a New York City law firm. And then, of course, a guy who was half white and half black, Dean Webb, a Washington State law firm. Now, they came in, their job was to prevent any evidence from being entered into the court system. Now, they didn't win anything, and I didn't lose anything. Their job was to prevent any evidence from being entered so they won't go to jail. Because if I won the RICO case, the criminal case, they were going to go to jail. If you don't put in any evidence, I don't care what case it is, it could be a criminal case, it could be a civil case, it could be a family court case. If you don't put in any evidence, it's going to get dismissed.
Right, right.
That's all a judge can do, is dismiss it. Sometimes a judge will dismiss with prejudice, meaning you can't bring it up ever again. And sometimes a judge will dismiss without prejudice, meaning that you can go and file again. So the judge didn't dismiss with prejudice, so that means I could file the case again, which I did in Utah.
Right.
Why did I
ask you about that? Why did
I choose Utah?
Yeah, Utah instead of, LA.
Well, California, the FBI told me that California had the most corrupted judges and lawyers. By far the most corrupted.
I can believe that.
So they told me, why don't you file in Utah? Because Utah has the Mormons. And the Mormons have another kind of code, ethical codes. So I filed in Utah, which was great. And I went after the attorneys. But see, what happened was a whole twist came about. I went after the 4 attorneys. That's the lawsuit that I filed against the 4 attorneys, because one of the attorneys, the one that was half white and half black, Dean Webb, told the FBI that Warner Brothers and Fox had sent them in to sabotage my case, to prevent me from coming in to doing a deposition, to prevent me from going into the courts and getting on the witness stand. That's right. To violate my rights in a court. And I didn't know what was going on, because I thought maybe 1 or 2 was corrupted, but who would have thought that all 4 of them were corrupted? And when I reported them to the FBI, they knew that they had committed a criminal act by depriving me of my rights, by not putting, they even admitted in a letter that they had the evidence and never entered it into the courts. The judge said in her rulings, Margaret Morrow, because the first judge on my case, the late Johnny Cochran, came and was going to do my case, but he died before he could do it.
Wow. I'm a fan of Johnny Cochran.
That's right. He called me for my case. See, you don't understand. If Johnny Cochran wants a case, he'll call you for it. That's what one of his workers, this lady Overvee, told me. Years ago, when I had called the office asking for Johnny Cochran, Overvee, her name is Overvee, she said to me, if Johnny Cochran wants your case, he'll call you himself. And many years later, it happened. Wow. And I told her, and she said, that was me that told you that. I said, I called for Johnny and couldn't get him. And then he called me out of the clear blue in the year 2003, when I had just filed the lawsuit, April of 2003, in the California courts.
Wow.
And he asked me about the judge. He said, what judge did you get? And I said, I got Terry Hatter Jr. He said, oh, I know who he is. He said Hatter will bend over backwards to make sure you get justice. He said you got a good judge. Now, they had to take the judge out. They knew he was a good judge. And you know what they did? They went out and hired the judge's son, who's an attorney, to defend the defendants. Well, the judge is a conflict of interest. A judge and his son, the judge can't be impartial if his son is trying the case. They never used his son. Paid his son all that money to get the judge off. Then they brought in their girl, Margaret Morrow. And Margaret said in her 50-page ruling that all needed to be done was to put in the movies. That the movies and my script and book was verbatim. Wow. That's all. Just put the movies in, because the movies is the Third Eye Matrix book and script.
So okay, so you said that you saw an ad and you send them your story?
I didn't shop. Like, this is what happened. In May the 1st, 1981, I sent my script treatment for George Lucas.
The guy that wrote Star Wars.
The director that wrote and owned Star Wars. But I didn't know that he owned Star Wars. I didn't know that he had written Star Wars. All I knew that when I looked at the screen credit, he was the director, and he could be found at 20th Century Fox.
Right. Wow.
So I wasn't shopping my work like the lies on the internet. All of that's lies. I was looking for Lucas to direct my work, because I'm a film student, USC.
Right, you're like, you probably looked up to this guy. You're like,
wow. When I saw Star Wars and I saw what he had done to Star Wars, I wanted that director. Still want him to this day.
Right.
Still want him, because he's a phenomenal director.
What's his name?
George Lucas.
George Lucas, that's right.
He's married to a black woman. Melanie is his wife. Beautiful black woman. So anyway, like I told you, a vice president, you can see the letters in the Third Eye book. The FBI validating the theft, all the FBI agents that investigated the case numbers, the registered return receipts, the letters of access from 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers. Everything is documented in the book, 100%. The newspaper clippings showing that I was in the media back in 1981. Everything is in the books.
So when you're trying to send it to George
and wait a minute,
Lucas,
let me. Well, I did send it to Lucas, but it never got to Lucas because Susan Mesbeck, she's the vice president of creative affairs. She got hold of it and made a call to me and asked me if there was anything else written on it. I said, I wrote a book. Good, send me the book. I got letters validating it.
Wow.
Now, how did the Wachowskis come involved in this?
How did they get it?
They had an ad. They were from Chicago. They had an ad in the magazine asking for a science fiction manuscript to do into a comic book. They were looking for a science fiction manuscript. So I love comic books. I grew up on comic books. When I was a little kid, this old man, he worked in a drugstore, and he was very old, but when he came home, he would bring me a stack of comic books all the time for me to read. No joke. So that's why I loved comic books. So when I saw that, I said, wow, I want my work to be a movie and a comic book. So I sent them everything. I sent them the script, I sent them the book, I sent them the characters, the graphics, the special effects. I sent them the synopsis. I sent them the analysis sheet. I sent them everything because I wanted a phenomenal comic book. And what you guys didn't know was they made a comic book and they released a little bit of it when the movie came out March the 31st, 1999. Soon as I contacted Warner Brothers, they pulled it back in. I have proof of it because I got the comic book.
Wow.
That's right. And I gave a lot of it to the FBI, And so when you see certain documents that you read in the courts, some of it came out of the comic book that they pulled back in.
Wow, what do you have to say to, younger people that that kind of are passionate like you? Like, I think you're a really good writer, and I mean, what you did, Matrix, was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, do you know what Matrix is? Matrix is actually quantum physics, ancient sacred geometry, and calculus jumping off the screen at you.
Wow.
And Matrix has never been in, this Matrix 4, the fourth installment, is going to be in real 3D. Because in 1999, when the Matrix came out, there was no real 3D.
Right.
You got to realize that the technology that we got now was not around in 99. That's been 15 years ago, since 2003. The last Matrix was in 2003. It's 2018. That's 15 years ago.
15 years.
With this year.
And we're still making movies about it now. I mean, you're like the catalyst. You started it all,
Yes, but it's like Michael Jackson, and all you see is all these people on YouTube imitating Michael Jackson. But they can't get past the imitation.
No, exactly.
Because they're not the creator.
They're not.
And I'm the creator, so they tried to kill my work out. Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis tried to kill my work out with Matrix 2 and 3.
Do you think that has to do with race? Because
it's
black woman.
It's racist. It's racist because the government they failed to protect my copyrights. It's racist because it's not a black male, it's not a white woman. Because look, the white man, the black male, the white woman, and then the black woman. Why is the black woman the lowest on the totem pole? Ask yourself that question. Why did I not get justice? I did everything right.
You did.
I went out and copyrighted my work. I went to the best film school. I got a degree. I was working for the studios, worked for television, a national...
At my lowest, I was barely eating and overexercising while still gaining weight.
I was working for the studios, worked for television, a national magazine. So what went wrong? I did everything right.
You did.
And when the Utah case, they've been hiding that because if they ever find out the people here in America, 380 million people, find out they stole from me, and what these little trolls has been hiding, all hell's going to break loose. They're going to get stock hits, just like Steve Wynn here in Vegas. He got a, $3 billion stock hits when people found out his misconduct. The shareholders had to make him step down because the shareholders were not going to get any dividend checks if he stayed on board. So what do you think is going to happen to 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers when the people, 380 million people, found that they stole copyrighted work, and that right now your copyright, and your copyright is worthless until the government put those executives in jail. That's right, your copyrights are worthless. If the government doesn't protect all of our copyrights, then we're lost. It's the same thing with counterfeiting. If the government doesn't come in and arrest a counterfeit, it makes their money, the FBI agents' money, is worthless. Same thing with the copyrights. Copyrights are intellectual properties. They're worth millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Some thousands, some millions, some billions. But in the Utah court case, it lasted 7 years because I got a call from the Illuminati's November of 2006. They called and told me that I was going to have another court case and win it. Now, I hadn't even contemplating in 2006 of another, because I just got out of the 2005 court case. So I wasn't even thinking about filing another. They called me and told me I was going to have a court case and win it, and I was going to go on and play a major role in world events. Now, right after that, they hung up. I get a call from the Masons. And the Masons told me that I'm going to have a visitor as soon as Prince Charles and his wife at that time was Camilla, the divorce lady. Mm-hmm. As soon as they touched American soil, I'm going to have a visitor. And you know who my visitor was? Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Who owns 5% of the Terminator while he's in office. He's owning illegal, it's just like you owning some drug money and drug property when you're working for the CIA or you're working for the FBI. So if you work for the FBI or you were director at the FBI, why would you have some stolen drug money and paraphernalia and products? And you know, because you're a governor. And he knew that it was stolen because he asked me what did I want. He offered me $5 million.
Arnold did?
That's right, $5 million. The FBI had me in their office talking. They got a dossier on him, a thick file on him, because I was wondering, why are they trying to put him in jail?
Right.
I didn't know that he had stolen the Terminator with these people. And that's why he owned 5%. Because I thought he had to set up like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise get $75 million and he gets part of the box office receipts. So I'm thinking that Schwarzenegger had the same deal. But that's not the case. He owned 5% and he knew it was stolen because he's offering me $5 million. He wants to buy the copyrights for $5 million. And I told him no. And he said, well, what do you want? And I gave him the line that he had in the movie when they cloned him and stole him from his family. I said, I want my life back. Interviews. I've done over 4,000 media interviews. I've been interviewing nonstop since ABC Disney broke my story October the 17th, 2003. Have never stopped, never had a publicist. People have come to me and asked for the interviews. Don't pay a publicist $5,000 a month. You pay a publicist $5,000 a month to go get you interviews. Never needed to. I've done Wall Street Journal 2009. Some of the celebrities that you know, big names, have never been in the Wall Street Journal or Forbes magazine. In Rolling Stone. I was in Rolling Stone magazine. BBC London. Independent Film Magazine. Mohammed Speak. Final Call. ABC, BET, MTV.
Yeah.
Tom Joyner.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Coast to Coast, John B. Wells, Coast to Coast, Art Bale, Jeff Wren's show.
You know what's so crazy too, that I was thinking about this, that none of these people that did The Matrix never really did a serious interview because they don't own copyrights, right? Is that what?
That's right. They are told, and they had to sign a contract that they could never do any interviews.
Wow.
Because you know why? It'll be a deposition. And they'll be caught on tape lying. Because they don't have any source work. Never had any source work. Never created any characters. Never created any graphics, scripts, special effects, or nothing. All they have is dummy companies called shell companies. Pacific Western Production, Hemdale Films, James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd. Assignments, where they assign the companies to different people of buying and money laundering. Andy and Larry Wachowski, a sheet of paper, because you can't put fraud into the government. It's just like this. You go to get a driving license, that's government. You put your sister's birth certificate in there. Well, you don't have a driving license. When you get in a wreck or something, they're going to find out you committed fraud against the government. They're going to come and prosecute you. These people are not stupid. They're not going to put some fraud into the Copyright Office. They don't have no script and no book in the copy. They don't got no copyrights. They pulled a Milli Vanilli and a Houdini on all of you guys. Milli Vanilli never sang anything. They gave y'all lip service, lip syncing. They were lip syncing. They never were singing. These people gave y'all lip service because they never wrote anything and never said on any talk shows that they wrote it or own anything.
Right. That's what
They have never told none of y'all that they wrote and owned The Matrix and Terminator.
Never. No, there's like no interviews of these people.
Ever saying that they own it, ever saying that they wrote it.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Come on. What is wrong with 380 million people in America? You sleep? Yes, they're asleep, and they're in the Matrix. I wrote The Matrix and Terminator to wake people up. And what's going on? They're fighting me and taking the blue pill. Excuse me.
Wow.
The red and the blue pill comes from me. I'll be back. The naked microchipped clone Terminator, naked without shame, time traveling. Because Matrix and Terminator is past, present, and future time travel. He heard the oracle, the Terminator is on their planet in the future. Here's the oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to take them out, destroy them when they enslave mankind in the future. So they sent a Terminator all the way from the future, their planet of technology where they sell technology to different people who want to buy it. Send them all the way to the future to kill Sarah Connor, who is Neo's mother. That's right. Sarah Connor is Neo's mother. Neo is in an anagram, a sneaky way of calling him the One. Neone, one and the same. So JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix.
Jesus Christ was Neo?
That's right. Why do you think they said, Neo, you're my personal savior?
Right, you're the one.
You're the one.
Right.
Trinity. What is Trinity? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Trinity. An angel playing a major role in the background. The oracle, the prophecy, the word.
Wow. Yeah.
Morpheus, John the Baptist, preparing the way for the Christ. Neo, the One, teaching him how to fight the machines, preparing him for the future. Wow. Go back and look at everything. It's all there.
So with the Terminator.
Terminator End Time Revelations, because in Revelations it says that the Christ was going to come back. And what happens when the Christ comes back? That's the story that I tell. Not the first story that was done by the authors when Mary and Joseph. No. My story is in the future.
Right.
If you look at the Terminator and the Matrix, it's the future. It's talking about digital downloading, where Trinity tells Tank to download her so she can fly the helicopter. It's talking about computerized warfare with the drones, where the drones are teaching you with video games how to do computerized warfare. Because in the future, the wars are going to be fought with the machines, not with the physical bodies of living beings. I'm talking about body scanners, food scanners. I'm talking about the Illuminatis, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. I'm talking about the machines, the corporations and the banking empires. I'm talking about the trilateral commissions and the Federal Reserve and the almighty dollar and the all-seeing eye of God.
Wow.
Now let's go back, because you asked, How did I get this story?
Yeah.
Well, look at the story. The Terminator, the machines that man created, what do? They want to destroy God's children. God's children are three-dimensional beings. God's children is already all over the earth. A third of the angels fell to the earth and got jealous of God's children. And what did they say? Let us create our own children in our image, mankind, or a kind of man, a clone. Right. A naked microchipped clone cyborg, but not a living soul, because the living soul can only be gotten through the woman's womb. God's children in the woman's womb is the only place you can receive the soul. And what is the soul? If somebody jumps off of the building right now, we're going to be screaming. If we look out here at this view and we see somebody jumping, we're going to scream. Yeah. But will a machine scream? No. Because the machine has no soul. Feelings. No soul, no seed. Because the soul is a seed. And what is the seed? We can have babies. The babies are the seeds, the soul. What is it? The GMOs, genetic modified organisms? What are grapes with no seeds? Watermelon with no seeds? Apples with no seeds and no worms in it. When the last time you seen a worm in an apple?
Right. Dr. Sebi talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Because if it is no seeds, because if I eat a watermelon or I eat an apple or I eat some grapes, I'm going to spit the seeds into the ground and they're going to come up. It's going to be growing some apples and lemon trees and oranges. I don't have to worry about that. Just thing to do is spit the seeds out. God will bring the water, the earth will fertilize it, and it'll grow. As long as I don't put any chemicals and pesticide stuff, there are chemicals and stuff, it's going to grow naturally. Now, let's go back to the story. So, my story has never been done. It's not in the Bible. It's in the future. The machines versus God's children. The angels created androgynous beings. Because what? Why? Do you know what androgynous mean? They don't have any sex organs.
What is it called again?
Androgynous. Androgynous mean they have no sex organs. So where are their children created? Their children is created in the lab. What do we have? Oh yes, test tube babies, petri dish babies, artificial inseminated babies, clones.
The mule, right?
That's right, the mule. Yeah. Let me explain to people about the mule. The mule is soulless. It has no seed. It can't replicate. Can't have any babies.
Wow.
What did man do? Man needed an animal that was bigger and stronger. So he took the DNA, and these are the genes, of a horse who's big but he's weak. And he took the DNA of a donkey who's little but he's strong.
Yeah.
And they crossbred it and they created a mule which is big and strong. So this is where the mule comes from. Not created by God. Didn't come out of a womb. Created by science in man.
Wow. So a mule is a horse and a donkey.
That's right. That's right. That's what a mule. Look at the mule. He's big like a horse.
Yeah, and
thick and strong like a donkey.
Right.
Because a donkey is a little animal.
So that's man-made.
It's man-made. You can't have no baby. If you don't believe me, Google it. Google it, people. You got your smartphones, your droids.
Right.
Google it.
So, tell us, I know, we don't really have a lot of time, but I love your conversation. I could go on with you all day, Tell us about Matrix 4.
Yeah.
Okay, Sophia, so you say that Matrix 4 is coming out, so we're very excited about that. And Tell us a little bit more on how this film will be different from the last Matrix.
Well, actually, Matrix 4 takes on from Matrix 1, and 2 and 3 is a dream that Neo and Trinity never died. You know, you can't kill out the heroes and the hero, you know what I'm talking about? So they never died, they're soulmates, they share the same dream, and they wake up, and the saga of the Matrix continue, but greater graphics, greater special effects, some new characters that come in, and some new machines that take the place of the old agent programs. So some really good stuff. It's not no reboot, no rehash, no remake. It's all fresh and new and greater than 1. And 2 and 3 never existed. How's that?
Oh, you know, I'm looking forward to this new film, and I can't wait to see it. And I just want to say thank you for letting me do this interview on you, because, you know, when I first heard of you was from Michael. You know, he passed away 7 months ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was a big fan of yours, and he's the first one that told me about your story. You know,
Wow.
and I feel very grateful to be sitting here with you, because, you know, I'm just blessed, you know, to be here, and I want to thank you for doing this interview with Too Real for TV, and I can't wait to see the film, and I can't wait to it's out, and then maybe we'll sit down and do another interview.
Oh yes, I have to come back, and I want to thank Too Real for TV also for having me. This is really great, and I just send out, you know, a cheer to all the fans, you know, love, and get the book.
Thank you
The book, and see for yourself.
Thank you for being here, and you know, thank you for letting me doing this again, and well, I guess that's it. And as I'm sure you already gave all the info, you have a Facebook, Instagram that you
Yes,
can
I'm
tell
on
people?
all of the social networks, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitters, Skype, you know, the whole 9 yards of everything. You can find me, MatrixTerminator.com, TruthAboutMatrix.com.
Yes.
And Amazon people, Amazon, my website. Get the book, you won't be disappointed.
Yes.
Very sure of it.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, there you have it. Very good interview, a lot of information provided by me also on the AI infrastructure, data centers. Again, there's going to be tons of links in the description box so that you can do further research like I did. And let me just say this is already a 2-hour plus video, so I mean, I could have went on further and further and further with more and more research and info that I have. I mean, on just every aspect of what she's saying and the people involved that took her movie. I mean, her rights to her books regarding the Matrix and Terminator. But anyway, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. I learned a lot, you know, over the past 3 or 4 years researching this stuff, and it's all coming to fruition now, so keep your heads up.